One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, go. Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Randy Lancaster Short. Today is Monday. Monday the 14th. Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Randy Short. Today is Monday, the 14th of September, 2020. It's approximately 3:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., and I am a D.C. native and a proud American citizen of definitely Aboriginal, aka Indian, Anglo, and definitely, you can see it in the wonderful melanin I have, African descent. And I'm here to make an appeal to people to think about our country and to understand something. We're in a lot of trouble. And one of the reasons that we're in the trouble, where you see police being murdered or attempted murders on police in Compton, California, shootings, riots, civil disturbances, the justification for these disturbances and lawlessness has its basis in the political careers of two persons running for the presidency and the vice presidency of the United States, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris Imhoff. And I'm not going to mince a lot of words here. Since President Johnson's Omnibus Crime Bill of the 1960s, all the way up until President Donald Trump had his First Step Act. Not until Donald Trump became president had any American president since the 1960s, and basically 50 years, done anything to deal with our criminal justice system that disproportionately and unjustly mass incarcerates Black Americans. The United States has just 5% of the world's population and roughly 20 to 25% of the world's prison population. And about that, depending on when, roughly half of the world's prison population is Black. Half, 12%, 12% of the world's prison population is Black Americans. And we're not a percent, I don't think, of the world's population. There's something inherently wrong and evil with this. And it is. It's called the Biden bill, or the Omnibus Crime Bill that President Clinton signed into law in the middle 1990s. And there are a lot of people who aren't aware that people like Congressman Clyburn from South Carolina and Congresswoman Maxine Waters from California, and the late John Lewis from the 5th Congressional District in Georgia, all colluded to mass incarcerate Black Americans and destroy families. It's nothing short of a biblical genocidal program that was called the Biden bill. What did the Biden bill do? The Biden bill did many things. One, it came up with some of the most draconian laws, short of Joseph Stalin and Heinrich Himmler of Nazi Germany, or the apartheid anti-suppression of communism laws in South Africa. Joe Biden, along with others, literally created a situation in which 1 out of 2 Black men ended up either arrested or in jail. I have one brother who's deceased. He ended up going to jail for a crime he didn't commit. He got out, but it never, ever, ever really came off of it. There are all kinds of problems, whether 1 in 9 black children end up in foster care. The rates of mass incarceration of black women went up 1,100% behind the Biden bill. We know that locking people up who are low-level, nonviolent drug users only creates more problems. And it's interesting now that there's an opioid epidemic that seems to be impacting white drug users more than anybody else. People are going towards treatment. Of course, they knew that when the Biden bill was passed. What did the Biden bill do? It incentivized the creation of private prisons, as well as incentivized by providing large amounts, billions and billions of federal dollars, for people to build prisons. If you build the prisons, then you need people to fill the prisons. It led to 3 strikes and you're out. It led to asset forfeiture. It led to a lot of things that are still playing out, where we've militarized our police forces. We've literally made this country at the brink of major social disturbances. We have an inequitable system that slaps some people on the wrist if they use drugs, and also, and then on the other hand, if you look like me, you go to jail for life for practically nothing. One of the things in the Biden bill was that since it was associated with crack being the cheap cocaine for blacks, there was a 100-to-1 sentencing disparity. Meaning if you're white and you have cocaine, you get arrested, you'd need to have 100 times as much coke to get the same sentence as a black with rock cocaine. It destroyed families. It destroyed communities. It made things more violent. We're still suffering from Joe Biden's bill. And there were people who made their careers, prosecutors and other people who are corrupt within the judicial systems, like Kamala Harris, who is by no stretch of the imagination one of the most evil, sinister state attorney generals and prosecutors in the history of this country. And I can say to you as an activist, I know multiple black families that are angry because Kamala Harris systematically obstructed justice and covered up suspicious murders of blacks that many people believe were racial hate crimes. Mitrice Richardson, Oscar Grant, Gregory Johnson, Mr. Boyd. I was talking to his wife yesterday. There are lots of these things happening. Kamala Harris systematically defied even our own Department of Justice to keep black men in jail by the thousands after their sentences had finished and had been terminated, so they could fight forest fires in rich areas. Both people are wicked people. They're racist people. Kamala Harris isn't black. There's nothing black about her. She is a Tamil Nadu Hindu. She's a Hindu. Nothing wrong. There are people in India my color. They're classified as Caucasoid. If that's how the system is, that's how it is. She's not black. She's not our sister. And she doesn't care anything about America, because when she was running the largest state justice system in the country, she didn't render justice fairly. She let pedophile priests run free. She let large banks and corrupt realtor groups steal from poor and working class Americans. There's nothing decent about either person. I can also say in the state of Delaware, where Joe Biden is from, there have been, for the last 20 years, a large number of suspicious deaths of black men found hanging. Folks have been threatened, some of them claimed by Joe Biden Jr. Names sound familiar? Sounds like the person that's running for president. It is. Joe Biden's son is alleged to have covered up the lynching of 5 black men. We had protests in Delaware recently. There's been a complete media blackout because what I'm telling you, most people don't know that the condition of blacks in Delaware is as bad as Arkansas or Mississippi, with no attention. Delaware has a black population almost similar in size to what Mississippi has. And the difference is in Mississippi, if something bad happens, you'll hear about it. When people get lynched or disappear, or they keep washing up on the beaches of Delaware, nobody understands. It's not covered in the news. And for the sons, Mrs. Clark's two boys, one hung, the other one to testify to what happened to his brothers, assassinated in front of the court in Dover, Delaware, or to Mr. Henry Fordham, who escaped the lynching. There's a 911 call and the police had to come. This isn't what I think. This is the reign of terror of the racist Biden machine. And in the case of Mitrice Richardson, where she may have been murdered by a racial hate squad and raped, her body was crushed up like pretzels. Kamala Harris said there was no reason to think that the death was caused, no murder. Well, bones just crush up. You just find the person that was missing like a year or so later, crushed up. And coyotes can't do that. Mountain lions can't crush bones like that. Somebody did. Kamala Harris, by the way, had a case filed against her within the last 2 weeks by a Dr. Rhonda Hampton. Americans, don't vote for these people. Donald Trump gets vilified 100 times more than what he deserves. We need 4 more years. And we need 4 years where you don't have a president where there's been an effort to have a coup against him via this Russia collusion foolishness. If you want to understand what you're going to get if you have Kamala Harris and Joe Biden as your president and vice president, you're going to get slavery by another name. We've been going through this for a long time. And I'm saying to black Americans in particular, your vote is pivotal. And there are 2 ways you can vote. You can sit on your glutamus maximuses and do nothing on November 3rd. Since most of us don't like to think critically about which party will offer us the best deal, then I'd say stay home. If you want to prevent mass incarceration to be brought back, and for the First Step Act of Donald Trump to be destroyed by people who hate him, who like seeing me and all of us be like this or in orange for practically nothing, go ahead and vote for them. But I'm pleading with anyone that loves America, that believes in Dr. King, that believes in the Sermon on the Mount, that believes in Christ, that wants this country to come together and be a nation when the Chinese and the Russians and everybody are trying to bring us down. Don't vote for anybody that doesn't care about preserving the American nation. And as far as I can see, when I witness the kind of civil unrest that I haven't seen since I was 3 years old after Dr. King was killed, people who want to bring this country down, there's only one person that can settle this thing and set us right, and that's Donald Trump. Don't even think about it. Joe Biden, it's obvious that I've worked in mental health. He's got a cognitive problem that is severe, which means that Kamala Harris, a corrupt woman and an adulteress, will be a heartbeat away from being president. She's inept, she's corrupt, she's not honest, she's not black. She needs to be somewhere where she gets her multiple personalities or multiple ethnic identities worked out. She has no business in politics, and Joe Biden needs to retire and perhaps spend some time with his addicted son and daughter, in particular Hunter Biden, who needs his support. Donald Trump 2020, everything else is a waste. Don't believe CNN, don't believe MSNBC. Research the candidates. I'd rather a president that's shot from the hip, you know where they're coming from, than a grinning bigot who was nurtured by the segregationists that were for the murder of Martin Luther King and Medgar Evers and Turner Goodman and Schwerner, and for Henry and Henrietta Moore. These were the people, in particular, I forgot, Senator Byrd, a Ku Klux Klan Grand Dragon recruiter. These were Joe Biden's and Hillary Clinton's mentors. I don't want no parts of them, and you shouldn't either. I'm Dr. Randy Lancaster Short of Washington, D.C. I stand by this message. I'm on the Trump train, and I refuse to get off. God bless you.